Hey, Retcon Raider here. It's been a while since I last talked about Stygian, Reign of the Old Ones, but that's because Cultic Games has been hard at work with development. They're a small team tackling a rather ambitious project on a very limited budget. But they've recently released some pretty big updates about the game, which you might have missed if you haven't been keeping close track of things. Cultic Games has released two major updates over the past few months, covering everything from the in-game resting mechanics, the character screen design, character creation, the upcoming demo, their planned appearance at Gamescom next week, and the game's planned release date. Now, I wanted to cover everything in one video, but when I started recording, I quickly realized that it was going to end up being way too long. So I went ahead and chopped up my script and turned it into two separate scripts. So today you get a shorter bonus video where I'm covering pretty much all the talking points except for the big one, character creation. I'm still working on finishing up the audio and video editing for that one, so you'll be getting that this weekend. Aside from the recent update about the character creation process, Cultic Games also released an update showcasing their planned resting system. Nothing is easy in New Arkham, so why should resting be any different? They talked about this in update number 23, back in June. I'm a bit late on this one because somehow I completely missed it. Sorry about that, I'm only human. For now. Anyway, their resting system seems rather similar in concept to the camping mechanic featured in games like Darkest Dungeon. Whenever the player wants to rest their weary head, each of the characters in their party gets 5 rest points to spend on special activities that they perform before or while resting. There are 15 rest activities in total, most of them linked to one or more skills, so different characters will be better or worse at certain activities depending on their skill ranks. Each rest activity has a special effect on how the overall resting encounter goes. Some of them help with recovery, others decrease the chance of random encounters, and so on. Rest activities like Socialize, Psychological Treatment, Medical Treatment, and Rest More are used to help manage your party's health and sanity. Similarly, activities like Pray or Read can also be used to recover sanity, but only if the character has an appropriate belief system and an appropriate religious icon or book that matches that belief system. Characters can use some rest activities to grant temporary buffs, making things a little easier for them until the next time they rest. Weapon maintenance, for example, grants a temporary bonus to a specific weapon. Physical exercise grants a bonus to mental and physical health. And scouting grants a temporary bonus to your ability to escape from combat as you plot out potential escape routes. Resting activities can also be affected by where the party is trying to rest. Keep Watch and Reconnaissance, for example, are vital if you're trying to rest in a dangerous area. Keep Watch reduces the chance of being attacked while you're resting, while Reconnaissance grants you a tactical bonus if you end up getting attacked anyway. On the other hand, if you're resting in a safe area with other NPCs around, you may be able to gamble, which can theoretically net you some extra resources. And of course, the character can use their downtime for research. Research is split up into 3 categories: medical, scientific, and occult. Successfully completing medical or scientific research will reward the character with an appropriate blueprint, allowing them to craft an item relevant to that skill category, while also rewarding rational characters with some extra sanity. Researching the occult, on the other hand, will reward the player with a new spell, while also granting esoteric characters a similar sanity boost. Beyond that, update number 23 also showed off the planned character screen. Which is certainly interesting, but I think the biggest reveal there is that they finally showed us our first batch of occult spells. This includes some spells that they've teased in the past, such as Blood Circle, Spit of Al-Razi, and Evil Eye, but it also includes 2 new spells, Host of Loa and Children of Pazuzu. As with many things in the game, spells are a double-edged sword, potentially doing as much harm as good, so it's always going to be a calculated risk to use them. Blood Circle, for example, creates a defensive barrier, but at the cost of both sanity and health. Spit of Al-Razi lets the character spit acid at their foe, but that acid might cause self-inflicted damage. Evil Eye debuffs an opponent, but can end up being unintentionally cast on an ally if the character suffers from certain mental conditions. The two new spells introduce even more risks, with Host of Loa allowing the character to summon a friendly Loa, a voodoo spirit, that inhabits the target's body, providing buffs. But if the host fails a will check, then the Loa will take control of their body, performing whatever actions it pleases. Children of Pazuzu, a spell that the player can theoretically start the game with, allows the player to summon a horde of vermin that will attack up to 3 foes, debuffing them. But the swarm may spread uncontrollably to other combatants, including allies. Honestly, all this information makes me even more eager to get my hands on the game. It sounds like it's shaping up to be a very interesting and unique experience. But that does lead into the last subject of their most recent update, Update 24. The game's current status and the projected release dates. Now, when the project was first started, they estimated that the game would be finished by November of this year. Unfortunately, as with many crowdfunding projects, they grossly underestimated the actual time it would take to develop their project. They've already completed most of the core systems, with the notable exception of the crafting system and the Voice of Madness system. They've also written thousands of lines of dialogue, designed hundreds of characters with modular components to allow for variations, and moved forward with things like animation and environmental effects, but they've still got a long way to go. That means they recently made the difficult decision to announce that the game's planned demo has been pushed back to the end of next month, September 25th. And the main game itself? Well, current estimates are that they'll have it in a fully playable state by late 2018. It's disappointing, I know, but I think it's also understandable. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it's a very ambitious project being handled by a small development team on a limited budget. But what they've shown us so far looks great, and I'm still eager to get my hands on the demo next month. For those who are particularly eager to find out more, Cultic Games will be showing off the demo ahead of time at Gamescom next week. If you're a backer, you can also sign up for a chance to help test out the demo before it's released in late September. You can find details in update number 24 over on their Kickstarter campaign. I'll include a link in the description. And if you missed out on the crowdfunding campaign, but you're still interested in supporting the project, Cultic Games has started accepting pre-orders for digital copies of the game on their main website. I'll include a link to that as well. At any rate, I'm going to get back to editing the second part of this video, where I focus on a more comprehensive look at the planned character creation system. So for now, this is Retcon Raider, signing off. Thanks for listening. Oh, and remember, although I do love talking about Stygian, Reign of the Old Ones, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official YouTube channel, and the official campaign page on Kickstarter. Links are in the description.